Hi, everybody. Hi, friends, family, community, loved ones, all of you. Hello, hello. Today is Saturday, March the 15th. And for those following along, you know that I had scans this week at the NIH on Wednesday and that I met with the team on Thursday. Um, uh, Unfortunately, what I had expected uh, came true. Chris and I got word that the treatment did not work, that they don't know why it didn't work. They don't know why the T cells didn't respond the way they did. They said I had good cells going into it. I was strong going into it. I responded well in the hospital and recovered well and all of that. But it's just part of the nature of a trial is that it doesn't always work. And so unfortunately that happened to me. The scans showed that there was an increase in tumor size overall. There is a new about dime-sized lesion in my liver on my right side, because that's where your liver is. And my lungs actually were pretty stable and not really changed at all, which is good. And the more concerning thing is that there are new lesions in my lymph nodes. Or not just new, but growing lesions also in my lymph nodes. So I am not surprised by this. Last time when we had the preliminary scans at the end of January, they showed some lymph nodes increasing. And then, visibly, I have this new area here on my neck, maybe from the side you can see. I wish I could say that I just have like big traps growing, but those big trap days are kind of over for me right now. And now it's just like visibly some lymph nodes that have some growing cancer cells in them. And then the primary or the larger concern is that I do have at least an 8 centimeter tumor in my retroperitoneal lymph node. There I actually have two growing on either side of me. They're towards the rear of your abdomen, and that is likely what has been causing all the back pain that I've been having. I also have a little bit of a growth on my left iliac crest area, which explained some of this like kind of groin-ish pain that I've been having. And the other thing is why I've been experiencing a lot of abdominal pressure and just like this feeling of bloatedness and uncomfortableness is likely because I have some fluid that is also starting to accumulate in my abdomen. So because of all that, the doctors at the NIH said it does not seem feasible or smart to continue with the trial, and that I should return to my oncologist to seek other treatment options. So I did that. Again, if you've been following along, you know that even before going into it, I felt like my body was telling me that things were not working. So I scheduled an appointment with my oncologist yesterday. I met with her at 4 p.m. We drove back from Maryland, got home shortly after 3, had a snack, and went right to meet her at 4. And we talked about next steps. We talked about returning to chemo, which the plan is to do next week on Tuesday, provided that my insurance approves it all in this short kind of turnaround, which hopefully it will. And the plan is to start on a combination of drugs that I have actually been on before. So when I was first diagnosed, excuse me, I have this cough that I've had since Christmas Eve. They don't know what it's from. They aren't blaming the cancer for it because there's been no cells, no change in my lung nodules. It's just this persistent cough that hopefully is going to go away at some day. Anyway, I forget what I was saying now, but the drugs that I'm on. So when I was first diagnosed, I started a drug called oxaliplatin. It's a platinum-based chemotherapy drug. I did that for 10 cycles, stopped it because I was going into surgery, but also and I did not restart it because of the neuropathy. So I still have neuropathy from that. Fingertips are tingly, toes and feet, I've never had that full sensation back. Those remain tingly. So I stopped that, not because it was not working anymore, but I stopped it because of the side effects. After that, I switched to a chemotherapy drug called irinotecan, which was working for me for months and months. I did 20 total cycles of that. And then only towards the end is where it started to fail, where I had these new liver lesions growing. And that's why I got into the trial at the NIH. So you can take each one of those individually, or in some cases, the more aggressive route is to combine them and take them both at the same time. And that is what we're going to do. My doctor felt that, I've handled everything well so far. I've handled chemo treatments well so far, that there's no reason to believe that I couldn't handle the kind of the aggressiveness of these two drugs together. So the plan is to start that on Tuesday. As my old schedule was, I'll go in on Tuesday for kind of the day of infusion there, pre-meds, all that stuff. Normally that takes 4 to 5 hours in-house at the cancer center. And then I will come home with a pump and be connected to the pump for 46 hours. And then I'll go back on Thursdays to get disconnected. And I'll repeat that cycle every 2 weeks for 4 total cycles of it. And then, so that's 2 months later. And then in those, after those 2 months have passed, I'll have new scans to kind of see where we're at. So the goal with the chemo is to ideally stop things in its track and to ideally reduce overall tumor burden. And then without having too many detrimental side effects for me. That's something that we're just going to have to keep an eye on really closely and see where it goes. And then when we get new scans, we'll kind of take it from there. And we'll see if I'm tolerating things well. Perhaps I continue on chemo. If I'm not tolerating things well, or if things are getting worse, then there's something else out there. Either way, kind of, it's all in a way similar to when I was first diagnosed, where it was crushing to hear the news that the treatment failed. I was very hopeful for it. Chris was very hopeful for it. We were all you all were very hopeful for it. And it was pretty crushing to hear them say that, we can't help you anymore. But it's also, it reminds me of when I was first diagnosed and being really scared. And remembering that when I was first diagnosed, I was told I could have 6 months or less to live. And here we are 2 years into this. And when I think about that, and I think about how scared I was when I was first diagnosed, I feel like this is, this is kind of just kind of a redo. It's like I was just diagnosed, but now I have a little bit more of a game plan going into it. I am a little bit more familiar with these drugs. I kind of, maybe good or bad, know what to expect, know to anticipate some, nasty side effects. And I know that all hope isn't lost. And I think for a little bit in thinking about this trial failing, I had lost a little bit of hope, and I'm not ready to go there yet. So so that's where I'm at. I have hope. I have hope for increased longevity. And, yeah, right now it doesn't look like what I wanted it to look like, where I wouldn't have to be on chemo every 2 weeks. But if that gives me longer life and still with the quality of life, then I'll take it. I'll do what I can, and I'll still continue to seek other options. But if this is my story right now, this is my story. And I really appreciate having you all to support me and to be here and send love and to, I don't know, witness me crying. There's been a lot of crying the past couple of days, but I feel like it was really nice to be home, sleep in my own bed the past 2 days. And honestly, since I've talked to the doctors at the NIH, I've felt better. I think I had a lot of anxiety and stress and fear going into that conversation. And now that it's like been released, I can also release all this tension that I had inside. I have not been in as much pain lately. It's been minimal. Still some odd abdominal things going on. The cough is persistent. That's been annoying, but I am honestly feeling much better, and I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay, and I'm not great, and I know that there will be a lot of bad days coming up, but that's a part of it. And there's still going to be a lot of really good days. So that's it. I will probably return to chemo day selfies, and I'd love to actually write a post recently about all the other good things I did this past week, like visiting Washington, D.C. with my Fight CRC crew and advocating for colorectal cancer research, and spending time with my mom and my brother doing that. And yeah, there's more. So I hope to write more and keep you all informed as I go through this process. And, thanks for being here. Thanks for your support. I love you all, and we'll chat soon.